When am I not happy while recording a podcast on itishruti? But today it's another level of ecstaticness and happiness because I feel like Ralph and I have fought the universe, which was trying to jinx our recording the podcast, and you're finally here for the world to know the amazing learnings and experience that Ralph has to share with us. So please help me in welcoming the founder of cometa.rocks, Ralph. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shruti, for having me on your show. Happy to answer your question.
You're too kind. And again, coming from testing backgrounds, I have a soft spot whenever I have a, founder come tester on the podcast. It feels so special and like, okay, like brother and sister or some senior. It feels just
Yeah.
amazing level of, similarity and mutual struggle that we all have
Yeah.
fought for. So I'm so happy with all the amazing things that you're doing for testing and testers. Thank
Mm.
you so much.
Yeah. Testing is our passion, eh? And do you want to hear my latest story about testing?
Go ahead. The stage is all yours.
You. So a week ago, I was in Las Vegas for the IBM Tech Exchange, and they had a big show in the MGM Grand Hotel, which is the world's biggest hotel, 8,300 rooms, and so yeah, the testing is inside us. So I got up in the morning with a jet lag at 5:30, and they have those huge and long hallways which you have to walk down in order to get to the elevators. And I was like tired and sleepy and jet lagged and just wanted to grab a coffee. And I saw this exit sign and turned around, and then it said stairway.
Right.
So I said, okay, let's try this. There's stairs. I'm in the fourth floor. I have to get to level one. So it's just 3 levels. Let's take the stairs so I don't have to walk all the hallway, wait for the elevator to come.
Right.
Opened the first door, went into the stairway, went down, found on level one another door, opened that door, crossed it, went into the small, into a small curve, into a small doorway,
Mm.
and the door closed. And the other door was not open. It was closed. So the exit to the hallway was closed. So I went, oh, what do I do now? I am testing the fire exit. And
Oh,
I'm stuck in the fire exit at 5:30. The biggest one, who do I call now? So yeah, it was testing. It was like testing the stairs, and I tested the fire exit, and I found a bug. I found the flaw. I was stuck there. So I took my credit card, I took my room key, and I actually slided it into the door, and by that actually managed to escape from there. But it was like 10 seconds, 15 seconds of what do I do now? What is going on here? What if 8,000 people want to go and reach the fire exit, and
yeah.
they are stuck in closed doors?
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's my testing experience in Las Vegas.
See, I never lie. I try my best. I don't lie. And exactly during the introduction, what I said, we testers are very similar. Our brain works the same or similar way. So you tested something even there. And I mean, I'm infamous at my house. Like my parents, they'll be like, like defects find me, bugs find me. I don't know how. And when I'm talking about bugs, I'm not talking about, the creatures and creations of God, but I'm talking about these kind of stuff that you spoke. So, wow, can't even imagine MGM. If supposedly there is a fire drill or evacuation, God forbid, what happens? And
Imagine, yeah, this is why I say testing definitely can save lives. Yeah? You just have to think about the risks and think about what can go wrong, and ask yourself, did I test this? Did I try this out?
I mean, I was
So
thinking next level. When you put that card and you're trying to get away, there should have been something that goes off, right? Like if somebody tries to break in or does something. I mean,
mm,
There's so many scenarios going on in my head right now, but why test free for MGM? Let's charge them. They have ample money. But with all that jokes aside, Ralph, oh my goodness gracious. See, this is what I was talking about, people. You need to listen to this conversation because there's so much to learn from this amazing, amazing human we have here. And I think I apologize beforehand. I would not be wrong in saying that you probably live, breathe, eat IBM because you have been a IBM Cognos consultant since 2003. I mean, that's like so much of experience in itself. How has that experience and journey been like for you? Like IBM is not a small name, and that too working with something like that since a very long time. Would
Yeah,
you mind sharing your journey or learnings from
yeah,
there?
yeah, sure. So yeah, it started actually as a fire accident. They also that there was this huge project in Stuttgart with this foremost car manufacturer, Mercedes-Benz, and they had problems getting the reporting live. So they ordered my expertise for just 3 days. And in the first session, I said, hands on, let's go to the machine room and get this fixed. And from the 3 days, I actually fixed one of the problems. And then they said, okay, let's have a workshop of 14 days with you and try to fix more stuff. Yeah, and from those 14 days, it has actually gone 20 years. I'm 20 years in that very same project because they love my expertise about machines, about really going down to the network cable, looking at the TCP/IP packets flowing around, looking inside the database, how the database statements perform, looking into the application, how that performs, and way up to the screen, the OSI Level 7, where the user actually sees the pixels. So the wide knowledge from my previous engagement as internet service provider actually gave me the ability and the knowledge to actually conquer those problems and solve those problems. And for me, it was like kind of it was not a piece of cake. The problems were big, but if you have good knowledge, you solve them. And it's like it's the knowledge. There's one part, but it's also the logical thinking, yeah, and thinking, okay, if I try out this and the error behaves like this, getting test patterns and trying out different things and trying again and again until this solves. That's I think that's the key. Yeah. So knowledge is one thing, but having testing patterns and observing and having clear test cases, that's another thing. Yeah.
Oh man, this is unbelievable. Like just from 3 days to extending it to getting into workshop and just on a lighter note, like did they ever gift you a Mercedes Benz? Oh my God, he's doing such a great job. We should probably gift him a Mercedes. Did they ever do something? Sorry.
No, they can. No, they cannot do that, and they cannot do that. But they said on various occasions, "Thank you, you saved our project." And I have written emails, written statements about that, and that is something that does not happen very often. Yeah, so yeah, it was a big system. I mean, we're talking here about a project where they had four project managers. They had like 300 people on the project working on it. It was actually the financial reporting system from Mercedes-Benz. So I'm also listed in the Insider Stock Exchange in Frankfurt. So it is handling very confidential data, and it was a huge project, and that the project manager then writes to you an email, hey man, you saved this.
That
That's
means more than any gift.
For me, it means more than any payment, any Mercedes, any real life goods, yeah, and stuff. So it's something that you cannot buy. Yeah.
Oh my God, that I think you have earned your spot really. If you're there on the listing and everything, you have earned your spot. You've worked so hard and so well on so much that you've earned your spot. So while you were, you know, dedicated to this task or project, what made you to create cometa.rocks? What led to creating of it?
It started in 2014, and it was when the release cycle was coming down. So we had release cycles in the software industry before that time of like 2 years, every 2 years a major release. So we would install that, and the business department would then test it thoroughly because we are on a financial reporting system, and things go to stock exchange. The numbers must be right. You cannot fail there. And testing an entire system is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So bringing the release cycle down from 3 years to 3 months, the business department say, "Hey, Ralph, we cannot do that. We cannot do an entirely test, yeah, thoroughly reporting to stock exchange with the capacity that we have. And can you do something about that?" And I said, okay, I will go back to my room and find out something. And so I did a very, very little POC on headless browser steering at that time. And that was when Selenium was, I think, 2 years old. And I started that and showcased that to them after a week or so. And they said, "Wow, this is magic. This is we want this." Yeah. And I said, "Yeah, but I'm not the developer which will create the test cases. I mean, you should create the test cases." And this is where my automation mind kicked in. And I said, "Okay, let's automate this and get you, business department, into the game. Yeah, you steer the test cases, you repair them, you test on release cycles and do the test automation." And they gave me time and material, and yeah, Co.meta was developed over years. So we went live in testing 2 years or almost 3 years after 2018, 2019. And yeah, it's well done. It's running there, and that was the kickoff actually. And today we see that more and more departments adopt the platform. So we have a platform now, which actually enables the business department to do their no-code, low-code approach of test automation. Yeah, so um, it is clicking buttons. It is not what I would call fully blown testing. It definitely does not have the quality of testing that I would expect somebody to do on a product. Yeah, but it covers the big risks that the business department is running whenever a new IBM Cognos release is coming out. So it enables me to actually push to production
Mm,
almost on a weekly basis. Yeah, and that makes a difference. Yeah, if I can confidentially say, okay, this is going to work. What has been working before will be working afterwards. And so that's all good. And we actually see that other people are coming onto the platform. Yeah. So the sister department saw the testing platform, and just by mouth propaganda, word by word, they got to know us and jumped on that. And they had a journey where they tried out things like the big monsters like Tricentis Tosca, and they also tried programming Selenium themselves. And they outsourced um, to India, they outsourced to Germany, so they tried outsourcing the testing, like sending around 600 Word documents and then receiving back after the test 600 word documents, and then have to screen them in order to understand which ones failed and which ones didn't and what was the reason, and actually doing the risk analysis, which they so it wasn't a relief for them to outsource or to use Tricentis Tosca. And so they gave cometa.rocks a try, and I did a 2-hour introduction to Cometa, and then they went on themselves and tried to convert their testing into Cometa, into features. And yeah, we had a time frame of around 1 month where the lady from the business department came back to me and said, Ralf, how's this working? How do I create a flexible selector for this? And so she learned some things about XPath and XPath selectors. And after 1 month, she called me up with a big smile from one ear to the other saying, hey, did it. I just automated my 100th feature. Yeah,
Oh.
and yeah,
Oh.
and so it's an amazing journey where actually from being totally depressed, she was almost ready to quit her job because she couldn't get the test management done. She couldn't
Oh.
get it done right. She was really sad about the situation, about 3 years journey of trying Tricentis, Tosca, trying Selenium, trying other vendors, and it wouldn't work, outsourcing. And then all of a sudden, within 1 month, it happened. It completely changed her life. So that is, those are the beautiful moments where you think, okay, you've done something right, Ralph.
Yes. Oh God, oh God, this is so amazing. I mean, you reminded me of the first time when I created my automation framework for places where I was working, but without taking away from your glory and spotlight, because this is your story. I while you were saying this and you were narrating your journey and experiences, I really found one thing, which was you're so honest and modest in saying that, okay, this is not what level I would believe it to be, and this is how it should be, and stuff like that. But this is really, oh my God, this is something really so special and beautiful when you create something which actually simplifies people's life and takes away their pain and they're happy. Okay, this solves a problem. Like that is
It
something.
may, yeah, it has a huge impact on our life. Just imagine if you have to use shitty software, sorry for that word, but it makes you sad, it makes you angry. Yeah, you start swearing at your computer. Yeah, how many times do we see people complaining about those big business software suites they have to use every day, and this makes them unhappy. And then after work, they step into their car unhappy,
Yeah.
angry. They start driving home, and then they have some incident on the road, and they are unhappy, they are stressed, they're even more stressed. They start swearing at all the other cars going around, and then they come home and lock their car and enter their house, find their kids, and they are still angry and unhappy, and they transport this unhappiness back to their houses and to their families and to their kids, and the kids do not even know nothing about
Yeah.
that enterprise software that was not working well. Yeah, so creating good software, really worrying about the latest and the last pixel that you see on screen. Does it really contribute to something, to some user experience? Is it fast enough? Can we omit this pixel? Asking you this question makes you create better software. Testing it thoroughly creates better software, and taking the user feedback in order to enhance it rapidly creates better software. It makes people happy, and when they use your software, they are happy, and they transport that when they are driving home and have an incident. They don't swear anymore. They just say, okay, this guy had a bad day, let him go. And you come home and you're calm and you're happy and you transport that, and you then all of a sudden are able to enjoy family life instead of still having this anger with you. Yeah, so creating good software has definitely a big impact on our life. And I think if the big companies,
Yeah.
the big players in the game would really care not only for profit, but for their social impact, um, wow, this could change a lot in society.
I mean, take a bow. If only people understood, who run business, understood what you just said, because I don't think it just comes to, the driving and the house part. First, it comes to your own team members and people sitting around you in the cubicle. If at all you're still working from office or whatever, you're working remotely, you
It,
transmit and transmute so much to people around you. It doesn't matter if it's office or if you went to the supermart or your family, of course. And
Mhm.
wow, man, we need more humans like you. The world needs more humans like you to understand that. And I had goosebumps when you said that, thing, because you reminded me of my first job. And like, when you're just fresh out of the college and you're working and you're staying somewhere else, and then you come to meet your parents only during the weekends. And I remember something happened, or maybe I was asked to work over the weekend also, and I was still traveling 3-4 hours to my house, and my mother could sense something wrong. I'm sorry, I wouldn't elaborate this more, but she said something to me like, don't transmit your negativity or energies from your office to, don't bring that here. Whatever you have, get it sorted there. If you're coming here, be happy. We are so happy to spend, hardly a day or two with you.
Mhm.
You literally reminded me like the first job experience ever. And this is true. This is so true. This happens. This
Yeah,
happens.
it infects actually society, and it is causing a lot of productivity loss in big organizations also. Yeah, so um, yeah, having this no code, low code approach, and enabling business departments to just get things really done, it produces incredible happiness. Yeah, and if you transport that, for example, to other, we're now talking about cometa.rocks and testing, but if you transport that to other situations where you could use this approach in, for example, software that is used in the government, which is so complex and so, it's badly written, it's badly designed, the interfaces are not
Primitive.
self,
Yeah.
it's not self-explaining, and it makes the people behind the screen angry, but they have to attend in public, they have to attend their customers, which are our citizens. So if we could use the very same approach there and fix and get them fix stuff and get things done with low code, no code, I mean, that would make such a big impact on society. Just imagine going to the office for, I don't know, license plate registration and see happy faces, happy people working there. Yeah. I mean,
I
you
have
normally don't find that.
I have had so many founders. I have had testers. I have had testers like yourself turned founders who have come. And I remember of, conversations where we were sometimes mocking and laughing at the whole fact that every time AI, ML, low code, no code is just thrown at us, right? As
Mm,
just words, and not many people really do something about it or actually create a product that will solve a problem. But the way
mm,
you just explained it, it made so much sense. And it wasn't, that
mm.
markety flashy stuff that we see in
No,
the outer noise of
mm,
market.
no, no.
It made like, okay, yeah, this is true. This is what we need when we say low code or no code, and not use it like a fluff word, to sell a
Mm,
product. And
mm,
while we are at it, at selling and founder, my
mm,
final question for you is a little interesting, because this is not the first time that you're a founder. You introduced the entire full blown internet service thing way back in Bremen,
mm,
Germany. Like, you were the
mm,
one who got it. You were the one who started it and helped that locality, helped that place. Like, I can't even imagine the level of pride you should have. I hope you do, because that's something so crazy. So you have been a founder, not this time, but you have been for a long time, and you have had that analytics, analysis, logical thinking way back. What made you get into the space of open source this time? Like, why? Why open source?
Um, well, I've always been into open source. I compiled my first Linux kernel when I was 17, I think. It was not Linux at that time, it was FreeBSD,
Okay.
and Linux still wasn't existing at that time.
Okay.
Um, so I've always been into open source. I've always worked with open source. All my work was always, all the years connected to open source. So for me, it was clear that cometa.rocks would be open source. But anyhow, there's one moment when I said, what is your legacy, Ralph? What is your legacy to the world when you leave? And some people write a book, other people plant a tree, other people have kids. So some of them I
Podcast.
did that. I did that, yeah. But I said my legacy will be my code. Yeah, I will not write the book, but when I'm not on this planet anymore, hopefully some people will have a look and can still read my code that I did years and years ago. So it's for me, it's like this footprint that you want to leave that actually gives maybe future generations a guide where they can learn and review and grow from. So I hope um, that I managed this with Co.meta and having this as open source.
My goodness. You know, I used to watch you from afar, from the LinkedIn posts, the sponsorships for conferences that you did, the amazing work with Co.meta and IBM and different stuff that you do. But after this conversation, my respect for you has risen like 100 folds, literally, not even 10, 20.
Hmm.
You're
Thank
so,
you.
you're so amazing, really.
Thank you. It's small stuff, Shruti. It's if every one of us would just do little good things, would do a little good every day, um, that would have a big impact, I think.
Yeah. It's so simple, yet many people don't do that. Uh, I don't want to end this conversation, but if you feel like I didn't ask you something, or if you want to give some message to youngsters, people my age, people your age, people whichever age listening to this conversation, is there anything that I missed asking you, or is there anything that you want to share with them?
Um, um, there are nice books out there. There's this book called The Four. I have to miss on that. I don't remember the book title. It's The Four Rules of Life or something like that.
Hmm?
And it goes like, always do your best. Don't take it personally. Um, put yourself in the shoes of the other. Um, and I'm missing out on the fourth one. They're so easy to remember, but now I have a blackout. So
No, it
I
happens.
would really, yeah, I would really recommend that book to anybody. And there's another one. It's a fairy tale about the coins that parents give us as childs. They and they teach us something, and those coins represent their teaching and their habits and the social culture we receive from our parents. So as we are growing up, many people experience like madness about their parents, or might not be thankful, or might think they could have done better or different, or why didn't they do this? Why did they hit me, or why did they were angry with me? And yeah, the story of the coins, this fairy tale, um, if you read that and actually can accept the coins from your parents and understand that they did all they could and accept those coins, that those are now your coins, and that you should do the best whenever you hand them over. So yeah, accepting the part of accepting those coins from your parents that they give you is part of this fairy tale, and actually made me have peace in mind with my dad. Yeah, so I had a very difficult situation with my dad, and yeah, apart from technology and testing and all that stuff, I yeah, would be happy if somebody finds that coins fairy tale on the internet, and hopefully it can help them.
If you remember the name of the books or the tale, you can probably paste in the comments when we put this live, uh,
Hmm.
the podcast. But
Hmm.
I feel like we should have another conversation where we don't talk about technology or testing. We talk about
Hmm.
these things because it's so important. And I really need to confess at this point that you resemble to one of my beloved uncles who passed away sadly, but you look like him. And suddenly, when you were talking all of this, you reminded me even more of him. And I think I'm developing a bias towards you right now, but yeah, it's just so uncanny because you look very similar to him, and the way you were talking right now. Uh,
Hmm.
I miss him even more, so I'll probably remember and pray him tonight. But this podcast was so special. Thank you so much.
Hmm.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and would love to have another one. I still have stories to tell. So at the age of 23, we tested we tested our router on the internet. Yeah, so when I had this internet provider company.
Yeah.
So at that time we called that hacking. Today we would call it testing. And
Or we call
yeah,
it ethical hacking, maybe. I mean, yeah, I find this funny too when people call hacking and testing,
it is
interchangeably. Like,
it is very similar. It is very
yeah,
similar. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
exactly.
we actually managed to disturb the worldwide internet for 3 days. We actually took Germany offline. It was
But
way back then. Yeah, that was when I was 23, and we took Germany offline. And the from that incident, actually, the trusted BGP was invented. Yeah,
wow,
because it didn't exist before, and yeah, and there's so many stories, so much more, many
we
more
need to
stories
talk.
to tell. So
We
yeah,
need to talk. I mean,
happy, happy.
I'm actually
Yep.
having like an episode where we talk like something like an Italian job. But maybe we
Uh-huh.
can talk about this German thing. Wow, this is crazy. There's so much more to talk. I
Mhm.
hope you just let me know whenever we can meet again in person, of course. I would love to meet you. And
Mhm.
again, online so that we explore more of these stories. I would
Mhm.
love to host you
Sure,
all.
sure. Shruti, thank you for having me here today, and yeah, love to jump on a call again with you.
Thank you.